so welcome to today's um, class, and today we'll focus on order block. All right, today we'll focus on order blocks. Understand how to draw a valid order block. You know, So what is an order block? An order block is a zone. All right, so an order block is a zone. All right, the what? A zone. Right? A zone where price is bound to reverse or continue. So an order block is a zone where price is bound to reverse or continue. And we have two types of order blocks. We have the demand zone, or you can call it the demand order block. All right. Also, we have the supply zone, or you can call it the supply order block. I hope that makes sense. All right, so these are the only types of order blocks we have. We have the demand order block and the supply order block. Demand order block and supply order block. All right, so an order block, like I've said earlier, an order block is a zone, all right, a particular level in which the price of the market is bound to reverse back or continue. Does that make any sense? So let's hop into the chart and see how we can practically, identify and mark out our order blocks. Because once you understand the sweep, you understand your church, right? Then the next thing you want to understand is your order block. Because once you can identify your order block correctly, then you can take your trade correctly as well. I hope that makes sense. So let's dive straight into the chart. And so we have this pair here. So we have this pair, and right now we can see in this particular place, you can see from this level, from this whole place, we have what? A bullish flow, right? You can see. And then what happened? We had this candle 1, we had this candle 2 bullish, candle 3 bullish, candle 4 bullish, and candle 5 swept the low of candle 4, right? Which makes it our what? Our high probability buy. So this is our sweep, right? You understand now, all right? So having said that, let's go straight in, into how to identify an order block. So correctly, we have seen this is a valid sweep, right? So I put my red line to indicate the sweep, right? Now, once you have seen your sweep, the next thing is to go to M15. See that I'm repeating all of these things because I want it to stick in your head. I want it to stick in your head. All right. So once you have found your sweep on the daily time frame, the next place you're going to is a 15 minutes time frame, right? And in 15 minutes time frame, all you're looking for in 15 minutes time frame is to find what? Is to find the change of character. All right. So in our previous live session, I gave you guys a pattern, right? So I said the pattern is this. This is what the pattern looks like. This is what the pattern looks like. So we have a sweep here, right? We have, let's assume this line is our sweep, right? And then the market is coming, it's coming, and then market sweeps it. All right. Now, once this happens, we expect this pullback, this recent pullback, which is here, to be violated. Once it is violated like this, we have what we call what? A church. All right. Now, once we have our church, the candle, once we have our church, then we can find our order block. So I would explain to you the concept of our order block. But the most important thing or the step before you finding your order block is to first mark out your church. Once you're able to mark out your church, then you can easily identify the order block. Order block is always below, is always at the bottom, somewhere like this. So somewhere like this, a box like this would be an order block. About I will tell you there's a rule. Everything is rule based, is mechanical, you don't guess. There's a rule to marking order block. So I will tell you the rule to mark identifying which candle is the order block. So Once price comes to that other block, what will happen? It will reverse and start going up to your take profit level. I hope this illustration makes sense. This is how you identify your church. All right. So having said all of this, let's get into the real thing. All right. So have this picture in your mind. All right. So let's get into the real thing. So now, right now, we have the market. The market has what? Has swept our. So this is so from here. All right. So this is our sweep. All right. This is the red line. This is our sweep. So we want to identify the recent pullback, because the recent pullback, once it is mitigated, that is what our church is. All right. So where's our recent pullback? Where is our recent pullback? Where is our recent pullback? So let's mark it together. So we have this high, and then we have this low, then we have this pullback, right? And then we have this pullback, we have this pullback, right? And then we have this, and then we have this pullback, right? In fact, we have, and then we have. All right, let me do that again. Please pay attention. So we have from this high, we have this pullback, we have this pullback, we have this, and then we have this pullback. All right. So to clearly understand what I'm doing, you need to watch the video on pullback again, and then we have this, and then we have this, and now we have this. So this is our structure. Let me use a very colorful to illustrate it. Yellow. Yellow is not colorful. Let me use right. So yeah, so we have this. So right now, where is our recent pullback? Clearly, this place right here is our recent pullback. So what we expect this market to do is to what? Is to go up and violate it. Once it violates it, then we have our valid church. All right, this is how you identify your church. Once the recent pullback is taken, you have your church. No, so in the last class, somebody asked in the last class, he said, what if we don't have a violation like this? What if this doesn't happen? You know, do we have a church? I said we do not have a church unless the recent pullback is violated. So in a situation where you have the market, keep going down, doesn't take out your church, doesn't violate the recent pullback, keeps going down, creates another pullback, doesn't violate it, keeps going down. You have to wait until it violates the recent pullback. It has to violate the recent pullback. Once this happens, then you can call it your valid church. I hope this makes sense. All right, so let's see what the market does. So right now we'll put our line here. Let's put our line. So I'll use this line to identify my church. I'll just put this line here. So I know what that line is taking, then I have my valid church. All right, so let me put it at the top of the candle. All right, so you see now, right? So let's play price to see what actually happens next. So we keep playing price, let's see what happens. So the market is, going and going and going and going and going, and then we have our church, right? You can see that we have our church. The market has violated that recent pullback, and then we have our valid church. All right. So once you have your church, how then do you mark your other block? Please pay attention here carefully. Once you have your church, how do you mark your other block? Now, because in this situation, this trade is actually a high probability trade, all right? Because from the daily time frame, we are bullish, right? From the daily time frame, we are bullish. So you can see from the daily time frame, we are what? We are bullish. So in this particular analysis, we are looking for what? A buying opportunity. All right. So in a buying opportunity, what we are looking out for is what? A demand order block. All right. So right now, once we have our church, all right, once we have this church, once we have this church, you want to find your demand order block. So now let's go back to the rules to identifying your order block. So let's go back to the notes. So we have two types of order block. I told you earlier, we have the demand order block and we have the supply order block. Now, what is the rule to identify your demand order block? The rule states that to identify your demand zone, let me put this here. So to identify your demand zone or your demand order block, see it here. This is the rule. Let me put it, let me make it red so that you can clearly see it. Let me make it red. So the rule states that to identify your demand zone, you need to what? Identify the last selling candle. This is it. This is the rule. To find your demand zone, you have to find what? The last selling candle before the buy that caused the church. So let me try and explain this carefully. To identify your demand zone, you have to find or you have to identify the last selling candle before the buy. You have to what? Identify the last selling candle before the buy, before the buy that caused the church, right? So you have to identify your last, you have to identify what? The last selling candle before the buy that caused the church. So let's go back to the chart and let's illustrate this. So let's say for instance right now, let me give an illustration again. So we have our sweep line here, and the market is coming down and then sweeps it. All right. Now this recent pullback here is our church. So what happens? The market, please, you need to understand that this move to the downside is actually a selling move, right? So it means you have plenty selling candles come down here. All right. It could be one, it could be two, it could be three, it could be four, it could be five, but you have different selling candles come down here. Now what happens? After this sweep, the market begins to what? Begins to buy up, and in this buying process, the market violates the church. Now you want to find that last selling candle in this place. There's always a last selling candle. There's always a what? A last selling candle in this area, in this bottom area. The last selling candle in that bottom area. So let's go. Let's apply the rule and let's see. So take a look at this chart right here. Take a look at this chart right here. What do you see? So we have our church, right? So let me indicate this as church. This is a church, right? So we have our church right here. All right. Now you see we had a selling move. So take a look at this. All of this is a what? From this pullback downwards is a what? Is a selling move to the downside. And then what happened? We began to have a what? A buy that caused the church. Do you understand? So this is the move. So right now you want to find which candle was the last, which candle was the last selling candle. Which candle was the last selling candle? So if you look at it very well, it is obvious that this candle, this black candle here, this black candle here, this black candle here, this black one, this black candle, you can see, right? The one in green. Let me mark it very well. This candle, this one, this black candle is the last selling candle. Then we began to have what? Buying candles, buying candles, buying candles, buying candles, buying candles that caused the church. So this candle, this black candle is our what? Is our demand order block. So I just have to mark it out. Is this clear? You have to watch this again slowly to understand the rule. All right. So to identify your order block, you have to mark what? The rule says that to identify your demand zone, you need to what? Identify the last selling candle before the buy that caused the church. So this is this black candle here, this one here is the last selling candle. So we have selling candle 1, selling candle 2, selling candle 3, selling candle 4. After this last candle, we begin to have what? A buying candle. So we have buying candle 1, buying candle 2, buying candle 3, buying candle 4, buying candle 5, buying candle 6, and so on and so forth, right? So this is our last selling candle before the buy. So this is the last selling candle and this is the buy. This is the buys that caused the church. The rule says that you have to what? You have to identify the last selling candle before the buy that caused the church. So this is the last selling candle before this buy. I hope this is clear. This is the last selling candle before the buy that caused the church. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. You have to watch this over and over and over and over and over. It is simple, but you have to watch this over and over. And you have to allow this rule sit in your head. This rule has to what? Sit in your head. And your head cannot memorize this rule unless you have soaked your brain with this rule by watching this video, even if it takes to watch it 1,000,000 times. All right, I hope that's clear. So right now, you want to mark the candle. So for me, I like to use this box. I like to use this rectangle box. So I mark the top of the candle. I mark the whole candle. I mark the whole candle. I mark it out. The whole candle. I just mark it out. I just mark it out. I mark the whole candle, the top to the bottom of the candle. I just mark everything. So you mark everything. You mark the whole candle, the top to the bottom of the candle. All right. So what I do is I mark the what? Your other block is what? The candle. So what do? You mark the whole candle. All right. You mark what? You mark the whole candle from the bottom to the top. You mark everything. You can see how I marked it, right? You can see how I marked it. I just used this box to mark it. You can use anything to mark it, but since I am the one teaching you, you have to use what I use as well. So I use this box. It's called the rectangle box. That's the box I use, right? That's the box I use. So what the fuck is this? Hold on. Hold on. Alright, so you mark what? You mark the whole candle. You just mark it out. You can draw your box as long as you want to draw it, doesn't matter. But what matters is you have to mark the candle, that last candle. You have to mark the bottom and the top. Alright. So let's play price. Let's just play price again. Let's just so just watch mark the candle. So now, once you have your church, before you get your other block, you have to first mark your church. Oh. Your church must first happen before you start looking for other block. Oh. Do you understand? Without your church happening, you cannot find an other block. I hope you understand. These things are rule based. The first step is to find your sweep on the daily time frame. The second step is to find your church on the 15 minutes time frame. All right, and I've told you and I've explained to you how to find your church. The recent pullback was violated. Then you have your church. Once you have your change of character, which is called your church, then you can find the last candles, the last selling candle or the last buying candle, depending on the case. But in this particular case study, this is a buy trade. So we have a demand zone. And for a demand zone, you have to what? Find the last selling candle before the buy that caused the church. Your church must happen first. I hope this thing is entering the church must happen first before you start looking for what? Your other block. All right. So once you have a church, you mark the last selling candle, you mark everything. All right, you mark it out, and then you can put your price, your entry. So this is a long. So we put our long position, and we put our entry just at the top of the box, and our stop loss a little bit below. All right, and our target, I target 2.5. 2.5. You can see here I target 2.5. So then once you have this, you can go to your futures dashboard or your meta 5, and then place the trade. I hope this is clear. So let's see what happens. Remember I said another block is what? Another block is what? A zone where price is bound to reverse or continue. So let's see what happens. So we'll play price and let's see what happens. So once price gets to this zone, it will what? It will reverse and start going up and give us our target. So we have to be patient and wait for price to come back there and take us in. So we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. So you see, all right, so you see, right? You see how price just what? How price just jumped, touched the other block, and what happened? It gave us our TP, sharp, sharp. It just touched it. So this other block is a zone where price reverses. I hope this is very clear. All right, so that's all about this. So this is how you identify your demand order block. So let me go and find a supply order block, and then we can take the two case studies, and then we are fine. So give me a second.